Good morning. So I'm tackling everything that's going on, POTS, post-viral fatigue, everything from many angles. But the main one that is in my control every single day is the nutrition front. And I have always loved how nutrition can heal many things, or at least help support the body systems. It's not going to go very far without the fuel to do so, and the nutrients to help all the little things that go on in cells every day. So here's my day in fuel, hydration, and all the things, because hydration and salt are some of the main ways POTS itself is treated. But then also there's always so much value for the body in the macronutrients and the micronutrients that you can put in. There's some herbal support, some mushroom support, all sorts of things. That being said, none of this is advice per se. It's just an insight into how I'm tackling it, and I have an awesome team behind me that are also helping with this. And I've done my own research / biomedical degree. So I tackle it a lot from this angle, and I'm hoping to give you an insight into how you can at least implement a few little things, especially the simple stuff. But to get us started, I start every single day currently. Now, this is a new thing. Jury's out on whether this does anything or helps too much, but as I said, trying everything. So I start every single day at the moment with a teaspoon on an empty stomach of manuka honey. Now, I have forked out for the manuka honey that is 550 plus MGO, which means it's medical grade. You can look up all the scales online of the different MGO contents, which is the main antibacterial helpful compound within it. It's supposed to help with gastritis if taken on an empty stomach in the morning. And since I still do have some of that, that's where I'm tackling that from. And then the other thing that I do to start my day is I have replaced my coffee with a lemon honey ginger tea. So I haven't had any caffeine in 2 weeks now. And depressingly, I'm getting used to it. And I actually, as someone who used to hate ginger, quite enjoy my honey lemon ginger drink now. So that's my first thing that I do when I get out of bed. I'm a slow riser at the moment, so it's 10 a.m. as I'm doing this. But alongside that, I do make sure that I get my first bottle of the day ready to go. So this is just 750 ml, and then I'm using a few sody electrolyte sachets. No brand affiliation there. These are just the ones I've found that they taste nice to have multiple in a day, and they're 1,000 milligrams per sachet. So they get a lot in. And I don't know how much salt I hit in a day, but for POTS, they suggest anywhere from even 6,000 to 10,000 milligrams possibly, with lots of fluid. So we're going to do a fluid count. This is 300 ml. This is a solid 750. So there's my first litre of the day. This will take me a little while to get through. And once I've drank this, breakfast is on. Okay, breakfast is ready. It's now 10:30. So it only took me about 10 minutes to put this meal together. And this has been my breakfast every single day for the last week or two, although I do alternate between eggs and scrambled tofu. But this is kale, could easily be spinach or any other green, but greens, mushrooms, lots of avocado, and some pumpkin seeds for more healthy fats, and some sourdough. Mine's gluten-free because I'm celiac. Could be any sourdough. But this is my breakfast because I just want something that is filling, all the protein, all the carbs, all the greens, but doesn't give me a sugar rush. Sugar rushes and me aren't friends at the best of times. So this does look very different to when I'm in training. As pre-training, it would be more simple toast and peanut butter. But since I'm not able to train at the moment, just trying to get all the macronutrients, micronutrients in. It's been a long time since I've dogmatically followed one specific diet. I was vegan for 8 years. I feel like I've tried everything under the sun, and I've kind of just gone back to, is it real food? Does it feel good to eat? And for me, is it easy to put together, because I'm far from a chef. So yeah, daily breakfast. Straight after breakfast come supplements, which what you see here is just some mushrooms powder mixed with carnitine and some good old echinacea. And then my day on this day was spent making a pot, a decoupage pot with photos of my lovely Maya. I find I can't do much taxing mental work as well as physical work, so I've turned to art and then just taking restful breaks in between when I'm been sitting up for a bit too long. But yeah, this was my entire day in between needing a lot more fluid. So by 12:30 I was refilling my drink bottle, making my fluid count for the day so far a little over 2 litres, followed by more pot work while listening to an audiobook, and then lunchtime. And now it's about 2:30 when I'm having this, and I'm having a rice bowl, which has 2 cans of tuna because I need all of the protein still, and it's probably 1.5, maybe 2 cups of rice mixed in here. Now mixed in with that, I have some tomato, cucumber, fresh parsley, lettuce, homemade hummus, and some good old nutritional yeast. Honestly, it's a case of mix all that together, chuck the rest on top, and Bob's your uncle. You've got a fairly simple, took about 5 minutes, maybe a little longer to put this together. And then of course, before eating, as I have been directed, add a whole bunch of salt. It wasn't long after that that I needed to refill my next bottle. So really going through the fluids, or trying to, and I add another sody sachet to every second bottle. Afternoon, I was pretty knackered. I was done with sitting up doing the pot work, so there was a nap followed by some time at the Shakti mat, which had my back looking like this, but I do love it. I find it calms my nervous system. Then 4:30, it was more food and fluid time, which I have found this bone broth concentrate a really good way, or nice way, to get a bit of extra salt in. Also got some really good collagens and everything in there. So this I have alongside my afternoon snack, and tastes like a chicken broth soup. It's actually incredible in place of more salty water. The snack I had that with was just some watermelon, kiwi, and a homemade bliss bowl. The bliss bowls I just make in my blender. It's dried fruit, nuts, seeds, some peanut butter, and cocoa powder. That's about it. After that snack, I did have a bit more energy again and was able to spend more time decorating this beauty. Now, this is a couple days later. I'm quite proud of my efforts. It's fully sealed, decoupaged, waterproofed, and all the things for my lovely mini monstera that's not so mini anymore. 5:20 was the next bottle fill. That was in the middle of doing more pot work because dinner was a little late on this day with the late start. So it was about 7:30 by the time I started cooking, and it was roast veggies. So in here, pumpkin, sweet potato, mixed with some turmeric, olive oil, and I really love the mingle spices. So I use them on a lot of my cooking. They just mix everything together nicely. Then while they cooked, I made some simple guacamole, a very simple salad of all we had left in the fridge, which was celery, lettuce, parsley, tomato, and olives. Then some beef mince mixed with some taco seasoning. I kind of call this a deconstructed Mexican burrito bowl kind of thing because I do put it on a plate. So it's Mexican-inspired dinner that we finally sat down to eat at 8 p.m. An hour of couch time later, and it was time for my sleeping tea to end the day, and me and Matt shared this homemade banana date cake, which left my totals for the day at a bit over 4 litres of fluid, 2,500 milligrams of sodium in the fluid, and lots more in the food. So there's a day of my fueling, currently fueling healing more than anything else. I'm used to fueling running, so it does look quite different in some ways to my normal, although really during training all that changes is that there's a lot more snacking and a lot more fuel during runs. Meal sizes are a little bit bigger in training as well, and I will say that when I'm in training, the snacks are simple, quick calories. Like, I don't mind if it's a whole bag of family chips, it might be a box of shapes, it might be like, fuel's fuel at that point, so I'll do anything to get it all in. But now, well, I'm not doing much activity at all with my day, so things change on that front. But when it comes to trying to give myself the most nutrients and my body everything it needs to heal, I keep it quite simple. Does every single meal have something to give me micronutrients, which might be herbs, it might be my pumpkin seeds, or like obviously veggies and all those as well. And then my carbs, my protein, and a lot of healthy fats, trying to make sure my hormonal health is as good as it can be while I'm not running, because that can take a hit no matter what you try and do when running. So I'm using it as a chance to reset, to simplify things, to have a lot less food out of a packet, a lot more homemade stuff while I have the time. I won't always have this time, but I'm trying to do a reset so that hopefully when I do get back to training, I'm still making my own hummus and back to making bliss balls, etc., and not always going for the quick and easy stuff. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight. Don't overcomplicate things is the one thing I'm going to say. Is I used to stress so much about what I put in, and now it's a case of, does it feel healthy? Do I know that it has all the elements in it? And is there enough? Like, golden rule is make sure there's enough. You can't feel training or heal properly if your body's not getting absolutely everything it needs every day. So the fluid, I will say, is a new thing. Over 4 litres on a day of not training. But I get a really bad headache really quickly at this point and more dizzy if I'm not drinking a lot. And I've been surprised how much I need, because if anything, I needed more than that, not less. So yeah, it's interesting times. I'm relearning again how to navigate a new scenario internally for my body, and so far I am slowly getting better. We're back to a couple of walk runs and not feeling too horrible. So we'll see if that continues.